Welcome to Scrunchy Time. I'm Nicole Hegstead, your fertility advocate. After 6 years of infertility and 3 miscarriages, I decided that I needed to become the advocate for my own body. If you're exhausted from struggling to get pregnant and want to know more about how I can help, check out my website at www.nicolehegstead.com.
And I'm Bridget May, your children's health expert. My son was born with a heart condition that led to 3 open heart surgeries, cath labs, a tracheostomy, and a ventilator. After being fed up with mixed opinions, I became my children's own advocate. If your child's health is lacking, then check out my website at www.bridgetmay.com to find out more how I can help. Put your hair up and pay attention while we discuss today's hottest topics concerning female hormones and healthy kiddos.
We aren't silky.
We aren't crunchy. We're scrunchy. Hi, and welcome back to Scrunchy Time. So today, as we're moving into colder fall weather and back to school and all the craziness of fall that brings, we wanted to talk today about antibiotics. And antibiotics are used so much more common year-round than they ever used to be, but it just brings it to mind. It gave us a good excuse to talk about it today. So we're just going to go through all the reasons why to take antibiotics and why not to take antibiotics and how they affect us, good or bad, and what to watch out for. So Nicole's going to start us off with talking about our fertility.
Yes, cool. So it's first and foremost super important to recognize that antibiotics are used to treat bacterial infections. And a lot of times we are using antibiotics in a way that they don't even work. We're using them for things like colds and flus, and they're not created to sorry, stumbling over my words here. They're not made to treat viruses. And so the biggest problem with that is we are unnecessarily killing things off in our body that we need when it's not even doing anything for whatever we're being seen for. So that's super, super important. Antibiotics are necessary and good in the right situation, as in you're going to die because you have a bacterial infection. Short of that, you should not be taking an antibiotic at all. So the biggest thing that an antibiotic does, especially with your fertility, is it will kill all of the bacteria that is in your gut that helps you to digest your food. And you need this gut flora or your gut microbiome. There's lots of different words for it. So that way you can break down the nutrition that's in the food that you're eating and you can absorb the nutritional value from it. And if you kill off that gut microbiome or that gut flora, you are not able to digest your food anymore. And so you literally become nutrition depleted because you're not able to digest your food anymore. And our food is already depleted of its nutrients. So imagine how much less you're getting when you take antibiotic after antibiotic. You see this a lot with women who get recurring yeast infections. Month after month, they continually get a yeast infection and have to go back in to get another antibiotic to kill it off month after month. And it's because they have killed so much of their own good bacteria off through the use of antibiotics that they aren't able, that it actually affects their immune system. And that good bacteria isn't there to fight off the bad bacteria anymore. And so they have to keep going back and back and back for more and more antibiotics. So it kind of creates a circular effect where you have to think of it like antibiotics kill off bacteria. They don't go into your body and say, oh, there's the bad bacteria and there's the good bacteria. We'll kill these guys and leave those guys alone. They kill everything. Everything dies. And so when they go into your body, they kill all of that good bacteria. And that, again, affects your nutrition level and it affects your antibodies and your immune system to be able to fight off that stuff. So really super important as far as infertility goes and as far as pregnancy, because again, you're growing a human baby in your body and you need nutrition in order to be able to grow that baby. And so really, really, really important to stay away from antibiotics if you're working on getting pregnant and you're working through infertility. Another huge problem with taking antibiotics while you're pregnant is you are, when your baby is born and they come out through your vaginal canal, they pick up all of the good bacteria and the bad bacteria that is in your vagina and in your rectum, down in that whole area. And it creates the baby's immune defensive system for life. That is what the baby picks up on and is able to fight against and create their own bacterial immune defense for their own immune system. And so when you take an antibiotic when you're pregnant, you're killing all of that bacteria off. And so when you have the baby, they don't get all of that great bacterial armory, I guess you could call it, like defense system. So they're missing out on all of that at the time of birth. And so not only are you affecting yourself, but you're affecting the next generation, and they're going to be depleted of bacteria as well. And then they get sick, and then we give them antibiotics, and that's kind of where Bridget will pick up. But it's a huge issue. And so if you're having an illness or something like that where you're recommended an antibiotic, try and go the natural route as much as possible. And we have some protocols and stuff we'll be talking about later on to fight some of that. But treat it naturally as much as possible, because you really are not only affecting your future health, but the future health of your children as well. So, okay, I'll let you pick it up with.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's actually perfect, because I was just going to pick it up from right there with the baby not getting all that good bacteria, because it's really important to know that baby, that person can never get that bacteria again. It is only created or given to us by being born vaginally. If you have a cesarean, you don't get that same bacteria. You actually get the skin flora of the mother. You don't get all that other stuff from, like the anus and the rectum, like you were saying. And so it is completely 100% all by having that vaginal birth. So it's super important that happens, because it's not like, oh, well, that happened, but let's just go do a gut protocol, or let's just go drink some, probiotics, or, get a lot of prebiotics in. You literally can never get back that bacteria you would have had through birth. So just amazing. It floors my mind to think of that, how God designed us that way. So
you use the term skin flora, and actually I haven't heard that before. So what is that? You elaborate.
So it would just be what's on your skin, because the baby is passing through your skin. So the layers of what's in your skin. So that's all they get. Okay. So, I mean, yeah, we have a great defense system in our skin and stuff, but it's nothing like what it would be in an area where things can get back into our body, like it's going to be nothing like what's in our mouth or in our vaginas or, everywhere, because those are actually able to be, things can get up in there, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm not wording that very well, but I think you understand what I'm trying to say. So, so yeah, it's super, super important. And that's the difference. So you do get some, like, and I'm not beating up on any moms who have had a cesarean. It's necessary at times, and it is what it is, but it's just important to know, like, if you have had a cesarean, know that your baby's immune system, it could be compromised. You need to be aware of that and just deal with the situation. But yeah. And the other thing too I wanted to know is, like, one thing I have is I always test positive for strep B, which is they consider it like a virus in your vagina. You're like sick or whatever. And don't get conned into them telling you have to have an antibiotic right before delivery, like I was, because it's not true. So there is a small minor chance that the baby could end up getting that in their eye. I think it's the eye, and get an infection, which is totally treatable naturally. So do know, if they do get it and they do get sick, there's totally natural treatments for it. Wow. But they give it to you saying, you can't have this. So it's not, again, life-threatening. But this is me a year ago, ladies. Like, we're all learning here. We're all going down the road. I'm in labor with my child, and I said, okay, we need to get your IV set up. And I said, oh no, by the third baby, I know you don't need an IV, and I hate needles. So I'm like, no, I don't want this. And they're like, well, we have to give this to you because of the antibiotic. And I'm like, antibiotic? And then they explained the strep B to me, and you're in the middle of labor. And I caved and I said, sure. So I ended up having it like 4 hours before she was born. It was my longest labor. But so we ended up staying the 3 days for them to watch her to see if she caught a fever, to see if she actually got the strep B. Just crazy. But it totally ended up being an unnecessary antibiotic because technically, thankfully, I had a really good midwife and she did not like re-give the baby an antibiotic and send us home, because they could have done that. And so they just said, well, monitor him. So there was a plus there, but you do not have to have that antibiotic before birth. Don't get conned into that, because they will just do it. They won't even ask you. The only reason I got questioned was because I denied the IV in the beginning. So
Yeah, that I was gonna bring that up. Like it's kind of a side thing, but they were just gonna give that to you without even asking.
Yep.
That
And the
is
reason I
insane.
didn't know it before was, well, Fritz was high risk. So you just do whatever, and I wasn't anywhere where I am now.
Right.
And then with Millie, I was getting prepped for a C-section. So I had no idea. But yeah, I got antibiotic both times with them as well. No clue. Had no idea. No
Wow,
idea that's what I was also being given along with an IV. So
that's insane.
yeah, we have no control. We think they're just pumping hydration liquids in me. Nope.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, so be aware of that you do have the right to deny that, and do your own research. You surely reach out to me if you want to, and I can tell you where I found all my research and everything, and how to prevent it if your baby were to catch the strep. But it is one of those completely unnecessary things to have. So yeah, so segue getting into that with children, so affecting their life and their immune system from there on out, it goes hand in hand with just everything. And children, we constantly are giving them antibiotics. We're giving them antibiotics in everything too. I think that's something really big to know. It's not just when your kid gets strep or gets an ear infection all the time and you're running to the doctor and all these things. They are also getting antibiotics. Neosporin is an antibiotic. I did not know that. I don't remember what I was doing. I was at somebody else's house and I looking for something. I don't even remember, and it just was there, and I read it, and I was like, oh my gosh! I threw it out years ago just because of Fritz's condition and stuff. We got rid of all medicine and just that's what was easiest for me. It's always easiest for me. You'll hear me. I just throw everything out, clean slate. That's how I operate. But I couldn't even believe that. So like every little cut and scrape, I used to use that like candy, so to speak, use that like water when I was a kid. You get any little scrape, any little paper cut, throw an antibiotic on there. Like how horrible is that? It is getting passed through us. Go ahead.
Even that hand sanitizer stuff. I learned about that when I was doing my toxic chemicals course. That's full of antibiotics too. And a lot of soaps, and even body scrubs and stuff like that, like even stuff that isn't labeled antibiotic or antibacterial. And the reason why is it will, like your shampoo and stuff will actually have bacteria that will grow in it because it sits in the shower in a damp area, and they don't want it like getting moldy. Like you ever think about, why doesn't my soap mold? Why doesn't my shampoo mold? It's because they put an antibacterial in it to keep it from doing that.
Wow, I had no idea. That's very interesting.
Yeah. So they are all around us. It surrounds us everywhere. You're right.
That makes sense though. So through the company that I buy a lot of my health and beauty products through, which you can find on my resource page on my website, but they have specific in their shampoos a probiotic. And I always thought that was kind of like odd. Like, well, that's an odd thing to say you have on your, like, who cares? Like I know the benefits of it, but most people don't know, like, you absorb things through your skin, through your hair, like we're not really worried about that. And so it makes sense that they make a point to say that because so many other companies have antibiotics. So that's really interesting. Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, so the other thing I was going to say was we also consume it in our food. We're giving antibiotics to our animals like no tomorrow, especially like I think it's chicken is like number one. It's full of antibiotics if you're not buying like homegrown organic and all of that. So, so we're constantly doing this, and then you get sick, which you're probably already getting sick because you're eating this and doing these things. And then you run to the doctor and you get another antibiotic, and it's really, once again, not surprising that we are not going to outlive our parents. I feel like I've been saying that a lot lately, but it's like, oh my gosh. So yeah, it's just a constant vicious cycle. And we always have to remember with kids and like the next generation, like they are also, they are also carrying their grandchildren in their bodies. So it's not just their body that's being hurt, but girls carry the eggs of their already we have their children in their body already, and those are being affected. It is not, it's not just something like, oh, she's pregnant now, let's be healthy. No, you are already affecting that. So that was a little bit on your side, but it's the next generation, and we really need to, we have to be this change in our children. We have to stand up for our children, to stand up for the next generation as well, and for our grandchildren. So we need to stop the vicious cycle now. So and that's we've written up some stuff. We have resources for a cold and flu protocol. If you have been exposed to a lot of antibiotics, we have gut healing protocols to go through, and you can find that all by reaching out to us and on our website. So
yep, absolutely, yeah, and like you had said, there's not a way to perfectly replace the gut flora after, by skipping a vaginal canal, a vaginal birth. But there are definitely some things you can do to help rebalance stuff after you've done an antibiotic. And it's intense. It's an intense protocol. So like once you do it, you're going to be way more prone to never take an antibiotic again, because it's like a 3 to 6 month long process of getting your gut back in line. So it's not like I actually had a client who took an antibiotic, and their first thing afterwards was like, well, I'll, replace my gut flora. And it's like, this isn't something that's going to happen next week. Like, this is a big deal. Like, this is going to be a process. So,
well, and I would say even 6 months just to start seeing major results. It actually takes up to 4 years to regrow our major organs.
Exactly.
So, and I mean, I'm going on 3.5 years in this journey, and I can just now say, like, yeah, I'm still seeing results. Like it's never ending. It's always healing.
And this is just the protocol. Like this is just the enforcing of it. Like you're changing your lifestyle during it, and so
exactly
you're living that probably ongoing life. So
yeah. Oh, well, you're just gonna be back in the same boat,
Exactly. Yep. Yeah.
If you do this and then go back to eating sugar, whatever, you're going to end up with another yeast infection. So I was one of those women cycling off of your yeast infections. Yes, that was me, first pregnancy. So I think I had like 4 in the first 3 months.
Yeah.
Insane. Yeah. So yeah, it's just never ending.
In my life, and the first one I got an antibiotic for, and my mom, the registered nurse, said finish the antibiotic. The second one, I knew enough to not go in, and I started researching, and I was able to cure it just from eating right and drinking a ton of water over the next day. And I was blown away that I actually, because I was always told you cannot cure these at home, and to cure it on my own in 24 hours, I was like, wow, why don't we start there? Like, I was in no danger of harming myself. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they are. They're super easy to do at home. It's really amazing. So I think I had one with cinnamon, but it was one of those things like, yeah, hydrate, do the cranberry juice, like all the things, and you're fine. So and at that point, your body should already have a really good defense system when you're ready to battle that again by healing it as much as you possibly can. So it shouldn't really be that hard when you think about it,
Yes. Well, it makes me wonder too. I'm just throwing this out there. I don't have any research to back this up, but I wonder if you do fight it off at home, the next time that bacteria shows up, is your body is probably going to recognize it and say, nope, get out of here, rather than needing another antibiotic because
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's just like anything, you have the flu once this year, you're not probably going to catch it again. You only get the chickenpox once. Your body learns that how to fight it off. So
well, you never get the same flu. The problem is there's mutants.
Multiple. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sorry, that's what I meant. You don't get you get the flu once, you're probably not going to get that same.
That's right. Yeah.
That's what I tried to say.
No, you're fine.
That's why I switched to chickenpox, because that was more on the line of universal.
Well, when you tell somebody that you'll never get the flu again, they're like, wait, what? And it's like,
right.
Strain.
Right. Yeah, I know.
There's just too
Wish
many
that's the way it
strains.
works. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, which, yeah,
Yeah.
I won't go into that. Never mind. I was going to go on a flu vaccination rant, but I will shut up now.
We can do that later.
So.
Awesome. Yeah. So like Bridget had said, we have the gut healing protocol and then cold and flu protocol. So if either of those are something that you're concerned about, whether healing from antibiotics or again going into this cold and flu season and kiddos going back to school and all that jazz, reach out to us and we can hook you up with the right program for you. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and we will see you back in a couple weeks.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on today's podcast.
If you'd like to know more about our programs or watch the podcast in video form, you can visit our websites,
where we also share links and resources concerning the different topics that we have discussed.
Check me out at www.nicolehegstead.com.
And check me out at www.bridgetmay.com. See you next time.